This time in the bonus round, we're at QuakeCon in Dallas, Texas, talking about the brand new Doom with Pete Hines from Bethesda, Andrew Reiner from Game Informer, and Adam Sessler. Hey guys, welcome to an all-new bonus round here on GameTrailers. I'm Geoff Keighley, and this time we are at QuakeCon in Dallas, Texas. We've got a great panel here. This week we're going to be talking about the Doom multiplayer that we have all played. We've got Adam Sessler, of course, with us as always, Pete Hines from Bethesda, and Andrew Reiner from Game Informer. So let's get right into it. Doom, Pete, you had a big presentation at E3, showed off lots of the campaign of Doom here. You had to give the fans MP, right?
Yeah, I mean, we showed off a snippet of MP at E3, but as you guys well know, nothing is really a substitute when it comes to multiplayer as to getting your hands on it. And so we, again, thought QuakeCon would be a perfect opportunity to roll out something and give folks a chance to play it.
Right. And we've been lucky enough to be some of the chosen few to play MP. And I mean, my first impression was it's definitely Doom. It's what you'd expect from Doom MP. What do you think, Reiner?
Yeah, it's like, you know, in the best ways, going back 20 years, you know, it's this intimate meat grinder of an MP experience, you know, that you don't really get anymore. It's just, you just get in there, you know, it's 6v6, and the sight lines are really short, so it's all, you know, the action's always like right in front of you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I felt young for a moment playing it. I forgot what that style of multiplayer was like, and it was really fun where there's no rationale. You know, it's not like a Battlefield or Call of Duty where it's like, it's war, this is why you're fighting. It's like, no, we just have really big guns, we're going to play tag. And that kind of fun and enthusiasm, and to Andrew's point, the way it's organized, you know, it's a smaller map, and it really is so well designed to just force everyone into a room where you're just fleeing rockets at one another. And there really is an undeniable just kind of thrill and silliness to all of that.
Well, that's the thing, is like that fast pace reminds me of, like, you know, Rocket League in the sense of just like visceral energy in multiplayer, because so many multiplayer games now, it's like you've got duck and cover, or you've got regen health, or you've got all these other things. And Pete, it seems like there was never a question about what Doom MP needed to be, right? You guys wanted to make it?
Sure. Although, you know, the thing is, first of all, I mean, we're going in knowing that you guys understand what previous Doom multiplayer felt like, but there's a lot of folks who don't, and their understanding experience is a Halo or Call of Duty or Battlefield. You know, for me personally, I really love the fact that it is not a, you know, it's not a quick draw thing where you come around the corner and whoever hits the trigger first, the other guy goes down, and that's it. There's almost, Reiner, you and I were talking about this the other day, that it's almost more like a duel, where, you know, you're kind of firing back and forth, and one shot isn't going to kill, and you're trying to figure out how to use your weapon versus theirs, and, you know, shooting rockets at each other that you can dodge, whether you're getting up close or staying far apart. I really enjoy that aspect of it, and it is very different than the kind of experience. It's a game that really either rewards or forces you to be aggressive. There's a gun that actually rewards you. The more you're moving forward, the more damage that it does. Like, it's not a game of cover. It's not a game of, I'll just hide behind here and regen health. You need to actually run forward to pick up the health that your enemies drop, because that's the only way you're really, you know, you're gaining back health from damage you've taken.
Is there, I'm sure you guys think about this, I mean, you have the people that love the Call of Duties of the world. I mean, do you think, is this a game that's going to appeal to them, or a subset of them, or how do you make it appealing?
I mean, I think our approach, whether it's with Doom multiplayer or Fallout 4 or whatever, is to make the thing that we're the most excited about and feel is the best version of that, and it will find its audience. It's not like, well, this is a game for people if you like game X or game Y. It's, look, if you like fun, fast-paced multiplayer, and being aggressive and turning into a demon and flying around as a revenant, like, okay, well, this might be for you. If that doesn't sound cool or fun, you know.
Well, you mentioned that, the asymmetrical nature of, I mean, you know, you're doing new things for Doom too. I mean, letting, you know, people play as the monsters or the demons, right?
Yeah, I thought it's something that early on in the design of the multiplayer, there was this notion of, like, is there a way for us to get demons involved and have that be a thing, and how does that work? And we actually, you know, it's funny you mentioned, Adam, like, we talked about, like, well, what is the rationale for it, or like, what? And we were like, really? Like, people aren't going to accept being able to play as a demon. They're going to question who cares? Like,
once you get to demons on Mars, you don't really have to explain anything.
You don't want to know the lore.
That's the thing they're going to have problems
with. That Rubicon was passed a long time.
It was, again, it goes back to, like, what just makes it the most fun, and let's do that thing. So having that, and then having it be, you know, you guys played version, I think, I think in this build, there's just one. Everybody plays as the Revenant, I
Yep.
think, when they. But in the full version, there's actually multiple demons, so you're not. It's not just everybody's this, but you can play as a Revenant or a variety of different demons, and each one has a different play style, which further changes up that mechanic of who gets to the demon room, and then what are they going to turn into that we have to deal with.
That's fun. So I mean, you guys are able to add sort of some new twists in there. Tell us about like iterating on the design for MP. I mean, Doom 4, or Doom as it's now known, has gone through sort of a long kind of creative process. Has the MP sort of always been on that same path, or it felt like for a long time you guys were trying to figure out what the campaign or what the game was, and MP was?
No, I do think it's changed a bit. I mean, we sort of said, look, this version of the game that we were making wasn't good enough. That kind of permeated across everything in terms of how it felt, and it affected the multiplayer. I think what you're seeing now reflects the team's movement towards something that was even more aggressive and fast-paced, and so it has evolved in that sense, but I think at the same time, like, they've been working on it for a long time, and so there's a lot of stuff that did translate over level designs, the verticality, the movement, that idea of, you know, controlling the sight lines, so it's not just like long corridors where things, you know, that there's a bit more of a surprise factor. It really does feel like an arena. You know, sometimes you're not really clear what somebody means when they say like arena-style combat, and then you get in this, you're like, oh, now I totally get it, right? Because it feels like almost gladiatorial, the way you're just thrown together constantly, and it's so fast-paced.
And you know the map so well, it just
right.
feels like it's...
That's also a big thing, actually, is, and something we've noticed here, you know, I play other online shooters, and I find there's a fairly punishing curve for not knowing the map where everybody else does, right, and like, oh, I didn't realize you could get to the, and you know, you're getting one-shotted from the side, and like, oh, I gotta move differently. Whereas Doom, at least to me, and you guys could probably speak to this better, it doesn't feel like knowing the level is a huge disadvantage.
No, and you know, you were talking about it being like a gunfight before, and it's not just run around the corner and boom, boom, boom. There's a lot of complexity there in that combat, where you have the double jump. You know, you're fast as hell, so you can evade pretty quickly, and then you have, your weapons are dynamic. You have things like the rocket launcher. If you miss your shot, you can detonate it midair, right, and get some splash damage there. So there's a lot of complexity there that's you might not see out of the gate.
Well, also, the matches are shorter. I mean, obviously it was timed here to be 6 minutes just to get people through the line, but I was chatting with some of the guys on the team, and they think that the average match will be somewhere like 8 to 10 minutes. Yep. That I love that, because it means you can get in there, and even if you're not doing well, there's another match just waiting there. I don't know how many Battlefield games I play where you're 25 minutes in, it's like, that's it for the day. I'm done, I'm exhausted, and that, you know, I think it'll be nice, and I think it'll be more appealing to a broader spectrum of people, that I can get 2 or 3 matches in about a half hour, feel good about that, and then come back the next day.
We're doing a panel here at QuakeCon, Retro to Real Time, talking about, you know, a lot of games like Doom, you know, 20 plus years ago, I remember playing, you know, Doom for the first time, and it's amazing that same feeling, you can capture that today in 2015, and it still feels fresh, and also it feels to me like, it does feel fresh because it's like we've missed it for so long, I feel like, because so many shooters have gotten so complicated right now.
And everybody was kind of starting to do the same thing in that Call of Duty vein, you know, they wanted that to have that experience, whether it was Battlefield or, you know, any of the other ones that were out there. And yeah, it's nice to just kind of go back, you know, just kind of rewind and just have this simple experience where, you know, it's all about the pacing. You know, it's like you get in there and seconds later you're engaging with someone.
It brought back these memories. Remember, in 1999, Quake 3 Arena and Unreal Tournament came out within 2 weeks of each other. These two massive online only multiplayer shooters, and like that really was like, I think a lot of us played during that year, and it was really neat to just have that sense of, oh yeah, let's just play, let's just shoot. And like, good game, which is a term I have not thought about typing into, you know, the console, you know, in about 20 years. I was suddenly thinking like, yeah, that's what a good game was all about. That just sense of this was really fun, and everyone tried their hardest, and it really paid off.
Now, one of the big things, I remember certainly when Doom was out, you know, the mod scene that was happening with Doom and Quake and everything, a lot of I think the developers that probably work at BGS and other studios really came out of that early mod scene.
You know, a bunch of the guys at Machine Games have said like what an impact that the id Games had on them and their desire to get into making games. And obviously you can see a lot of that in what they've done with Wolfenstein, but that's where they got their foundation. And you know, it's worth pointing that the part of what we've shown today is just the multiplayer aspect, but there is also this mod-based multiplayer that comes as part of SnapMap that's even more, where you've got things like classic 4-player deathmatch. That gives even some more variety. It's almost like its own separate little game over here, separate from the base multiplayer, with all of its different modes and maps and
Yes,
ways of playing.
You guys mentioned and showed a little bit of that at E3, but so you have the SnapMap. That's all going to come sort of day one in the package, and people can start
It is
creating
an option in your menu where you play the campaign, you play multiplayer, you jump into SnapMap, and when you jump into SnapMap, that means a million different things. You can do single player and play through just a single player thing. You can grab a buddy and play co-op, or you can be like, yeah, let's do like 4-player deathmatch with just the 4 of us and jump into a map somebody made and start playing. And it's literally like press a button and you're in. So it's going to be a great integrated part of the game. It's not a thing like Fallout where, well, you need the mod tools and it's a separate download that only works on the PC, and it's part of Doom.
Yeah, I was talking to Marty Stratton about it, and he said you can make playlists, for single-player, co-op, and multiplayer. So you could make a full single-player campaign if you want to, or a co-op campaign.
You like basically with whatever stuff you download, you just say like, I'm going to play through these things like in this order, and it turns it into like an extensive map campaign thing that you can play through, and you can even like see how well you do getting through this playlist and have other people try. Yeah, like how fast did you get through it, or what was your score when you got through it.
Wow. Are you gonna, obviously, mods and things on the PC? Are you gonna let people have? Eventually, I'm sure there will be mod tools. People will be making mods.
Everything that we're doing on the mod side is going to be through SnapMap.
Okay.
So that all of the like super powerful build crazy stuff is all going to be done through SnapMap. So the idea is. I used the analogy the other day of Minecraft. You just pull any 12-year-old who, if there is one left, has never played Minecraft, and you sit them in front of Minecraft. If they don't know what they're doing, they could still make something, right? They could make a smiley face, they could build themselves a house. But if you put it in the hands of somebody who really knows what they're doing, like they recreate like Zelda in Minecraft, and the SnapMap tools are much the same. You can give it to anybody.
Robust, even on
they give it
PC,
to anybody, and they can do simple stuff. But yeah, the complex stuff, all of those things that used to be super complicated, because if you've ever tried to use the Doom mod tools, they are not something to be sort of touched your toe in. Like, you got to know what the hell you're doing. The idea is that there's enough complexity and depth there that you can do all this scripting stuff and make up new gameplay modes. So it's got this really steep high end, but you don't have to jump right to it like you do with the Doom tools. That you can do little stuff, simple stuff, if that's something that you're interested in. So everything will be pushed through that.
So could you make Doom 4 through SnapMap?
You didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
Probably. I mean, basically, I guess the question is, could you recreate all of the different levels and so forth? I don't want to say yes for sure because of some of the outdoor stuff that we do and how that works. This is more of an interior thing, but any interior level from Doom 4, you could.
So it's the rough architecture. I could make like a Duke Nukem 3D level in Doom.
Yeah, the difference is like you get some of the stuff that we showed at E3 with the Foundry, where you've got these massive open spaces. Well, SnapMap isn't something that's saying like, here, build this cavernous interior space. It's more about like the stuff that you saw in multiplayer, where it's a little bit more, it's tighter, and you're not worrying about building an interior space that's 30 stories high and half a mile across.
Can you, on the PC, will you be able to do more because of the mouse keyboard interface? SnapMap, or it's pretty similar?
I mean, the idea is that it's just SnapMap is just SnapMap, and how the UI works on the PC will be different than on the console. But the idea is that the functionality is the same. What it does is the same, and the SnapMap, by the way, like they use that stuff all the time in the game when they're going through to like mock up a level. That they'll take SnapMap stuff to kind of do the quick version of like, well, how should this be laid out, and snap stuff together. So it's important to underscore, it's not unlike the Fallout stuff, where this thing is powerful enough that like it's what the devs use to make the game. So it's not like some nerfed down dumb thing. Like, no, it can do a lot of stuff.
See the Pete Hines level.
Yes, definitely.
I made a room. There's nothing in it.
It has a demon in it. He shoots you.
So if Adam's on PS4 and I'm on Xbox One and you're on PC, I make a map. Can I share it with both of you?
So the way it works is that, and this is part of what we talked about with Bethesda.net. The idea is that Bethesda.net is the thing to which you are publishing to and pulling stuff from. And so you created a Bethesda.net account, you're playing Doom, we don't care what platform you're playing on. You just say, I want to upload this thing that I made, and anybody else who's logged in can just say, I want to play that map, and you download and play it. Now, what it doesn't allow for is, I was talking about like 4-player deathmatch. Well, obviously, we're not supporting cross-platform play, but the content can be uploaded, downloaded, and shared because the game doesn't care. The game doesn't even know. It just knows Reiner wants to play that map. You click on it, you download it to whatever platform you're playing on, and it just works.
All right, guys, we can't wait to check out Doom next spring, and we will be back next time with more right here in the bonus round.